Happy Valentine's Day. And if you're single, well, fuck you. Let's read some Valentine's Day confessions. I broke into a house once in order to read a diary. Remorse. This was about 15 years ago. I was a senior in high school. I had been head over heels in love with this girl since middle school. And during high school, we became really good friends. It wasn't uncommon for me to go over to her house and for us to just talk and shit until really late into the night. We'd stay up late talking to each other over AIM as well. What's AIM? I don't know. Let's keep reading. We'd go out, not dates, for special occasions that would otherwise be shared with an SO, homecoming, Valentine's Day, etc. To put it in a way that many people comprehend, I was friend-zoned. But I'm not a fan of that phrase, really. I just couldn't accept the reality of the situation I was in. We were friends. Only one of us wanted more than that. It was really that simple, and I was a fucking moron. She could have just, had you as a placeholder. She didn't actually want you to be her boyfriend, but she wanted someone to do boyfriend things with, so she felt like she had a boyfriend without commitment. I had a serious overabundance of emotions. I was hella unstable. I don't remember how often it was, but every couple of weeks or month or so, I would end up sending her these ridiculously long emails, just pouring everything I felt into them. I imagine they were pretty intense. I had trouble keeping these emotions in check, but never before had it driven me to do something so criminal. I still suffer from this overabundance of emotions, but from time to time over the years, I've learned how to deal with them, but more importantly, how to not put myself in situations which I know that it will become an issue. And when I do end up in that sort of situation, I've gotten good at spotting a problem before it becomes a problem and ejecting. Suffice it to say, I've turned into a little bit of a hermit as a result, but I'm not complaining. And I'm sure as shit not looking for sympathy. It's just a part of my reality. I was eventually diagnosed with bipolar, but I'm not entirely sure I agree with the diagnosis. I agree with the diagnosis. But even if it's not bipolar, it's something else equally disruptive. It's probably bipolar. You're probably bipolar and you're just in denial, and that's okay. But you're bipolar. Sorry. So, I should rephrase. I was infatuated and obsessed with this girl to a very unhealthily degree, and I could not comprehend how we could be so close and I could feel so in love and it not mean something more than friends. I mean, I couldn't reason an alternative, but I couldn't make sense of the reality either. I was just refusing to accept it and refusing to accept the reality I was in. I started looking for these alternative explanations that didn't exist. I don't remember when I found out about her diary. I'm sure I knew about it for some time. I'm sure she's referenced it in one of our several late night talks. It wasn't something I was obsessed over, but I was obsessing over what I believe she wasn't telling me. I mean, I was practically convinced she had feelings but was lying. It doesn't make sense. It wouldn't have then even. But that didn't matter. Her and her family were going to be out of town for a week. I have no idea what triggered the plan of action, but one day I cooked it up. Her house had a pair of French doors. What is a French door? To the backyard. I also had French doors leading into my backyard, and on one more occasion had been locked out of my own house. Because of this, I already knew how to unlock French doors from the outside, so the plan didn't even need any planning. What if there were cameras? One day while they're out of town, I get in through the back door done. Yes, yeah, so easy. And that's what I did. I'm not bipolar, but I drove up in the middle of the afternoon, broad daylight. Broad daylight is crazy. Walked around back, unlocked the doors from the outside, walked in, went to her bedroom, found and cracked open her diary. I did find one passage about me about a dream she had of kissing me and being confused about it, and that's it. No diatribes, I wrote no meandering over. Should I or should I not? Nothing at all remarkable. What I thought would be a Rosetta Stone into her mind just left me more confused than before. I figured I had been there long enough, and all it would take is a neighbor knowing they were out of town and noticing my car to turn this into a situation. So I went out the back doors, locked them back up, and left. I didn't go through anything else. I didn't take anything, nothing else. In, read, out, done. Probably was less than 10 or 15 minutes. Nothing else ever came of this either. I never did again. I never used the information I found, but I did end up telling one person, my best friend. I don't know why I told him, probably because of the guilt of having done it, but he didn't treat it like the big deal it was. Pretty sure he wasn't surprised at all. I mean, he did know me pretty well, and I was a fucking mental case. At least you're aware. At least you're aware. I have never done anything this extreme before or since for any reason. I think my eyes were opened as I drove away that day. I had a serious problem. Oh my god, we didn't know that you were bipolar. Till now. I didn't know then how much that problem would affect my life over the next decade. But I had become aware that I could act in these extreme ways and did not give it a second thought until after I had done it. There was so much I could do with that knowledge at the time, but it's certainly something I've reflected on a lot since then. I just wish I had sooner. I spent the next several years behaving like a full-on nice guy. I'm such a nice guy. Of course. Not to her, in fact. I stopped talking to her after high school, and her and my best friend, the only person I ever told this to, started dating. I took it as personally as anyone could take something like that, and wrote off pretty much every one of my high school friends as a result, since they all knew before I did. Now they're married and have some absolutely gorgeous children. I am very, very happy for them. Many years ago we reconnected, as she has family near where I live, and now they happen to be visiting my town. It was a nice lunch. I've always wondered if he ever told her. On one hand, it's his wife. I know I tell my SO eventually, but on the other hand, this guy was loyal as fuck. I don't mean to me. I just mean as a personality trait. So I really wouldn't be surprised in either case. And if he were to happen to read this, I know with certainty he know it was me. I'm not looking for anyone to rationalize this to me or to justify it or to make excuses for me, nor would I expect anyone to do that. I know that what I did was wrong to the point that I made sure to check the statute of limitations on criminal trespassing in that state before submitting this. It's 1 year. I learned a very important and potentially dangerous thing about myself that day. I have spent years working on never allowing myself to repeat something so intrusive and trust-breaking and obsessive and criminal ever again. So yeah, that's my confession. I feel like I dislike your friend more than I do you for what you did. Because I feel like him stealing your crush and marrying her and having a child with her is much worse than breaking into your crush's house and reading her diary to see if she likes you. I got nothing else to say about this. I got my boyfriend a balloon for upcoming Valentine's Day, and I'm seriously considering popping it so I can have a helium voice. I just kept staring at it and I'm tempted. I'm a little bit high right now. Perhaps I should sleep on it. Girl, just get another balloon. Or do it with him. Do the helium voice with him. So you can still give him the balloon and be like, I got this balloon for us to do helium voice with. I'm a genius. Yes, yes, yes. Do the helium voice together. I'm glad to be single this Valentine's Day. I left my husband of 2.5 years together for 8 a few months ago. I have no regrets. Today, I realize that this might be the first Valentine's Day in 8 years where I don't feel disappointed or let down. This year I can do my own thing and not worry at all that no one else can be bothered to think of me. Feels good to know I can make my own happiness and not rely on somebody else. I really like this mentality. Because it's okay to be single on Valentine's Day, and it's okay to have fun on Valentine's Day if you're single. And it's okay to be happy about that. And I hope that you buy yourself flowers, treat yourself to some chocolate cheesecake, and pamper yourself and take a bubble bath that day, you know? Moving on. I stole Valentine's Day candy. This happened when I was in the 5th grade. Valentine's Day was coming up, and the teacher had everyone in the class to make sure to get candy and cards for the entire class. I wasn't a well-liked kid, as often as I got bullied and such, so I thought at least I had candy to look forward to. We also made these little baskets or bags and taped them onto our desks so we could go around and put candy and cards in. So the day came and I brought my bag of candy and cards for every single classmate. We all got up from our desks and started distributing. The classroom was filled with laughter, happy kid shit, and mild crushes flying about. I returned to my desk and checked my basket. It was empty. I thought to myself that, well, there was still time and classmates were still handing out goodies. Minutes passed and no one came across my desk. I left the basket hang off my desk and felt shame wash over me. No one liked me. I kept to myself and tried not to cry, thus started drawing on some paper to keep my mind off the disappointment. Time was up and everyone went back to their desks. I saw their happy faces, classmates enjoying chocolates and reading the funny cards. I just felt odd. After school, my mom took me out to run some errands and went to a store. The very same store that I got candy and cards from. I went to the candy section and saw the Valentine's Day chocolates, fruit candy, etc. I teared up because no one cared to give me anything sweet. Hell, I told this to my mom and she was devastated. But she just didn't know how to comfort or console me. What do you mean? She's your mom. She should know. She came from a very harsh family that carried on the rule that emotions and feelings don't matter. Okay, that's why. Always get my questions answered immediately after I ask them. Anyways, I stared at the candy and one little item stood out. It was a kitten on a Valentine's Day card with a heart-shaped lollipop attached to it. I picked it up, pocketed it. Yep, I stole it. It was wrong, but I wasn't thinking then. Just the embarrassment, shame, all those crappy emotions crashed into 5th grader me. I returned to my mom with the candy in my pocket. When I went home, I went to my room. I took out the empty Valentine's Day basket from my backpack and dropped the stolen candy into it. I felt numb, I felt odd, and then I remembered feeling really sad. After that, I didn't partake in any Valentine's Day candy giving at school. I'm sorry for stealing the candy. I know it was wrong for me to do that. I just felt alone and disliked. I'm sorry. Why does he feel so bad about taking that? Like, I feel like it's not that serious. Maybe I'm desensitized to this stuff. But I think that on Valentine's Day, if nobody gets you anything, it's okay to get yourself a present. That's okay. So I'm on your side here. You did the right thing. Okay? And actually, your mom should have gotten you something right there and then. Like, you were right there. She should have gotten you something instead of trying, like, what? Then you had to go and steal it because she didn't get you anything. She should have bought you something. Come on. Does this make me a bad person? So my wife cheated on me. We are not legally separated, but are sure getting a divorce. We had not had sex but maybe twice since Valentine's Day. I have a high sex drive and want to fool around to numb the pain. I feel terrible for wanting to break my vows, even though she did. I don't know what to do. I'm just so hurt and want to move on and not think of her 24/7 anymore. I fucking loved her, but I can never go back to someone like her. Am I justified in sleeping with someone else now, or should I just wait until we are legally divorced? Oh, I don't know if going out and doing any of that stuff will make you feel better. But you should focus on yourself and doing self-care and self-love and positive affirmations and going to the gym and get a cat or something. Like, focus on you, because something like that might not make you feel better. I mean, maybe it will. I don't know you. The next time I see you will be the last. I like you so much. I've liked you for the last 4 years as your best friend. You rejected me so many times because you were afraid. Finally, when I gave up, you let me in. I waited an entire year for you. Didn't even kiss another person because I wanted to kiss you instead. So why am I ending this next time I see you? We've been casually dating for 3 months, but only see each other once a week. Every time I ask you out, plans never go through. It's only when it's convenient for you to do when we get to hang out. You didn't get me anything on Valentine's Day, not even an e-card or V-Day text. I'm still mad about that. You still don't. It's not the money or the gifts, it's actual thought that counts. I think of you all the time. You, on the other hand, don't at all. You brush it up when I bring up anything to do with us. When we were BFFs, you talked about your ex a lot. I know that she was the love of your life. There's no way I can compare to that. You're beautiful. I've told and shown you that so many times. You never said the same about me. You've said you enjoy my company outside of hooking up and I'm the only person you're dating, but it's not enough. I want to be your girlfriend and you're just not that into me, it seems. I'll never be as great as your ex-girlfriend and you'll never love me. I give up and next time I see you will be the last. Guys, don't date someone who's still hung up on their ex. Don't catch feelings for someone who is still in love with their ex. It will never be good and you will never compare to them. And I think it's very healthy of you to leave that situation. So congratulations. I'm in love with my best friend. We met a few years ago working in the same building, 2 different departments. It started off as lunch buddies, but it got to the part where we saw eye to eye on everything. I'd be the first she'd call when she wanted to share something. She'd be the first person I want to share everything with. I didn't want to proceed at first because of the work situation, but as time went on, I couldn't hold back. I asked her out on a date twice, but got shot down. We stayed friends, but again, it got to the point where I couldn't handle just being friends. I sat her down and to talk about what I felt and to see what hers were. She told me that she had been in 2 long relationships just before we met and wanted time to develop her single self. She feared that if we got together, we'd get serious too fast. I kind of bought at that, but also saw it as a blow-off. Again, we continued our friendship. I saw a few girls, she didn't see anyone. About 2 months ago, I started seeing a girl who I eventually realized I was too interested in. I told my friend this and she said that I needed to let it develop before I could can it. Well, about a month ago, my friend came over, we had a few beers, watched a movie, and ended up spooning and making out. She eventually put a stop to it and left my place. The next day, I broke up with the girl I was seeing because A, I'm not the type to cheat, and B, wanted to explore things with my friend since the old feelings that had been sealed away were brought back up. That's kind of cheating though. Well, my friend told me I was a moron for breaking up with the girl, said what happened between us was nothing and that again I was a moron. We never really discussed my side of things. Come Valentine's Day, I gave her presents that I felt were truly sentimental and unique to us. She was extremely grateful but didn't reciprocate in the way I had hoped. We have continued hanging out as if nothing ever happened except for the fact that I'm in love with her and don't know how to proceed. Why is she still friends with you? What is her problem? Please you need to get over this woman. She does not care. Why would she make out with you knowing that you're seeing somebody? Okay, I'm done. I didn't know I cheated. Realizing it makes me want to die. I'm dating an amazing person. Valentine's Day is coming up and I was so excited to plan a surprise for him. Last week, I sexted someone else and can't handle telling my boyfriend. How do you not realize that's cheating? This only happened because I had been oblivious to my sexual issues until now. I think I'm repressing a lot of things that hurt me in the past. Now it's all coming out and I don't know how to explain it to him. My background, I dissociate sexually. I crave intimacy with a partner, but when it comes to sex, I feel like I'm just there as a tool. I know it's me doing this and not him because I have intimacy issues in the past, and my first experience was not consensual. And when I did have sex later, I performed for the guy rather than be intimate and used a cam while I was in a relationship. I completely feel like that person is an object and not me when I have sex. I feel like I'm that object again. Skip to current. I recently fucked up and showed a friend some old cam photos as I was cleaning out my computer, and he liked them and guilted me into sexing him because I started it. And what's the harm? They're all online anyway, so I exchanged words with him while he masturbated. I honestly showed him because I didn't see them as me. I saw them as a thing that used to be online and was traded around for money. And at the time, I didn't feel guilty for cheating. I just felt like I owed him sex, like my responsibility to help him masturbate because his sex life was empty. I'm overwhelmed with guilt and I feel disgusted. Same way I felt after a few months of camming. I hate myself. I'm cutting again. I just want to drive off the highway, give up. I ruined the only good thing in my life because by doing this and cheating on my boyfriend. If you don't come clean to him, just show him the post. If you can't physically tell him, just show him the post. What is wrong with you? How do you not realize that's cheating? You need better friends because your guy friends should not feel comfortable with seeing that in the first place. What? I'm probably gonna break up, and that's fine because how do you not realize that's cheating? Next, I'm done. Tonight it hit me. I love my girlfriend and want to marry her. This is a good confession. Thank God. We've only been together 8 months and she loves me and tells me. I've been hesitant to say so. Even still, she tells me to take my time because she knows it will happen eventually. So tonight we went out and had fun. Ended with sex as usual, but this time I decided to splurge and take her to this hotel. There was a mirror in front of us. The sex was incredible as usual, but seeing her from a different angle just affected me somehow. She's too beautiful. She is my soulmate. I know it. I knew it before this night. I just didn't want to admit it. I love her and I know we're meant to be together. Now I have to start planning a proposal and get a ring. Luckily, this couldn't have happened at a better time in my life. I just got a promotion and want to buy a house this year. We're going to have a great life together, but I'm not going to confess I love her until Valentine's Day, then I'll propose this summer. I'm really happy. That's great, but does she want to get married? I mean, 8 months is you know, when you know, you know. When you know, you know. But you have to make sure that you're on the same page with the person that you want to marry, that you both want the same thing. But yes, this was a nice one. Thank you for actually writing something nice. Thank you. I'm selling my eggs out of desperation now. Past posts. I had been seeing a wealthy man for a couple months. He would give me a 5-figure allowance each month. I was monogamous with him. We'd see each other once a week or once every 2 weeks due to scheduling. He helped with me getting a lawyer for a certain defamatory post online and putting my relative into rehab. He is covering her $120K rehab fee. Dang, girl. A couple weeks ago, he brought up egg donation. I would have to sign my custodial rights away. He said he doesn't want to have a child that could be taken away, and also for legal reasons with his ex-wife and their children. He would pay me $1 million for the first round, then $500K if we needed to do another cycle due to poor egg retrieval. I asked him to add a house to the demands, a financial advisor, and a job at one of his companies down the line. He agreed. At first, he wanted to have a daughter since I was so beautiful. I don't know, that might be a little creepy. Maybe we shouldn't have children with someone who says that, because that mean that he wants to be attracted to his daughter. I'm a little scared. The wording is weirding me out. Now he changed it to wanting to have 2 sons after talking to his mother. He was going to have 2 egg donors and surrogates so they could be around the same age, which would make the 2 sons have different mothers. I told him that it was weird to have 2 mothers, and I'm not doing that. So they'd have to both be my sons so I could feel more connected and less alone. He was fine with that. So he doesn't want her to carry the babies. He wants somebody else to carry them. but he wants them to be her eggs. I have been more focused on the psychological side of how the future children would feel not having their biological mother in their life. Would they have resentment or anger? Would all the money and a lavish lifestyle they'll have make the pain less? He was not going to tell them about the mother, which didn't make sense because he has other children, and the other children would surely tell the child one day since the children just popped up. I asked who would get custody if he died. He said he'd give the children to his sibling. Wait, so she's not gonna raise them as her own? In more confusing news, yeah, I'm confused. I think everyone's confused. If you are confused, like the video if you're confused. If you're not confused, like the video too. And let me know if you are, if you're not confused in the comments. He said he could see us being together for years and he'd still give me the 5-figure a month gift. He said I don't have to do the egg donation and he would still see me if I didn't do it. Since he also has egg donors from the agency. What agency? He said he wants mine since he's actually knows me and due to my looks. For the financial aspect, if I do the egg donation, I'd be connected to him for life and he'd surely help me since I'd be the biological mother of his children, but who really knows what the future brings? I mean, you might be setting yourself up for success if you go through with this. And he's paying you a lot of money and all this. So if you get the terms in writing, you know, I would say yes if I was in your position. If I was in your position, I would say yes. I am aware there are major health risks with egg donation, which is the reason why I asked him for another month of research and deciding he wanted me to see a fertility doctor ASAP. I told him no way and I needed to ponder over if I'm making the right choice for the sake of the future children. Days ago, I was flying home on a private jet with the monthly allowance in my bag, wondering what my life is. I'm still not happy. This story is insane. I must be a terrible person because I probably would have said yes. Update. Things have changed majorly since I wrote the post above. It is like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I could not believe what happened. My friend warned me that he was going to do this and she was right. She was completely right about him. How does your friend know him? What? Earlier this week, I asked him when I'd see him again. I was having a major meltdown and felt lost about my future, but didn't tell him. I wasn't getting emotional support from him and he'd only respond that I needed to see him after I saw the fertility doctor. I told him originally I wanted a couple more weeks to think about it and he wasn't listening to me. I felt stuck. It is like a switch went off and he went cold. I responded by telling him about my past, how I was in a psych ward as a teenager for trying to kill myself and worry I'm not strong enough to handle the egg donation. I didn't hear from him for hours, so I texted, "Please call me." He responded hours later saying that he will call the next morning. I asked when he'd call me. He simply said, "Sorry I missed your call, so have you decided not to go through with the egg donation?" What? He straight up ignored my psych ward text to where I was telling him how badly I currently felt emotionally. No support. He doesn't seem like he really cares about you that much. I sent him a longer email explaining how confused I was since he seemed empathetic in person yet cold and acts business-like by text. I didn't understand and wasn't getting any clarification. I told him I haven't felt this low in years and needed reassurance. He gave me none. He responded by dumping me. He said, "I'm very sorry. I suggest we simply say goodbye at this point." I then sent him a text to please help me and I saw that he had me blocked. What? He was the most empathetic man I had met in person and was so sweet, yet he did a 180 and was the coldest because you didn't give him what he wanted. I did not understand. I put everything into him and thought he could save me. Bad idea. Don't have mental illness and then hope someone else will save yourself. Good advice. Out of fear for my future, I emailed back confessing how I have nothing, no local friends, no job history, no college degree, no parental emotional support in my life. I said I would do the egg donation since I had nothing. I didn't think you'd actually respond or want my egg since you know I'm crazy. He sent back a professional email saying, happy to hear you have agreed to proceed with egg donation. Like, I never sent the emotional confession prior. It was quite scary to see that response, at least. I think he, like, was responding to you like that on purpose to manipulate you into saying yes, because he would think that he's leaving you. What I don't understand is why he wants my eggs so badly. Like, there are other egg donors through the agency. Is this a power trip? He originally told me he wanted my eggs because I was so beautiful and didn't want the other egg donors at the agency because he didn't know them. I assume we will only have contact via email and he'll never see me in person, which would be for the best. He told me in the past that his ex-wife said he was so cold, looked at him with shock, and said, I can't believe that. Now I understand her point of view. I haven't told my only relative that I'm in contact with that this is on the table. I worried my relative would spiral since. They are in rehab and I wanted them to focus on themselves. They did egg donation before, so they would be too shocked at this idea. I just got an email from the credit check company. Well, at least I have my credit score as a true friend. Okay. You two are the real deal. Through thick and thin, ups and downs, you'll always have each other. That's love. That's you and your credit score. Take an extra second this Valentine's season to show your credit that you care. Your score's been looking awesome lately. Keep it up. Conflicted. I haven't heard from him for hours on setting up the appointment date, so I'm 99.9% sure he ghosted me again since I know his pattern. Ouch, my stomach is in knots. I don't know how to pull myself out from this since. I never expected him to ghost me after all the sweet things he said in the recent past. If the egg donation appointment is still happening, I am still just as confused and torn. I'm scared for you, and I hope that you get a lawyer to write some type of contract if you're actually gonna go through with it. And I hope that you're filthy rich by now and you're multi-millionaire and you did good with your money to last you the rest of your life so you never have to work again and you never see that man again, and he sends you money because you know you donated your eggs. But maybe you should have just asked him for more money and at first being like, well, I wouldn't do it for $1 million, but maybe you could give me a few more, like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 6 or 7 million, then yes, I would do it. And if it didn't work, then I need $1 million more to do it again. I don't know, that wasn't a very good Valentine's Day story to end off this episode. If you have any Valentine's Day confessions that you'd like to share with me, there's a link in my description down below. So you can send me your Valentine's Day confessions for me to read to everyone. And that's all for this week's video. I hope you enjoyed. Goodbye.